So hiring process, obviously, at the minute, the main thing I'd say is the obvious time. No matter whether a candidate's good, bad or ugly, as long as you get back to them in a timely manner, whether you're moving them forward or rejecting them, they'll always appreciate it a lot more.
I think there's a lot of things right with hiring process at the moment, because the more people I speak to in the industry who are like head of engineering, talent acquisition, people, they're doing a lot of things right in the sense of that they're playing to the candidate side. It's not the business has to do it in a month, so I'm going to do it in the month. They are leaning towards the candidate. The candidate, they've got 10 different opportunities. They're going to try and fast track them, get them through. They're actually being quite malleable with their decisions as well. So sometimes with candidates, they drop technical challenges because they know that the time pressure is there.
We're still, despite approximately 10 years of banging on about it, facing the age-old problem of how long potential clients take to turn around CVs. We're still facing the issue 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, 2 weeks for someone to review a CV.
But I think one thing which companies aren't doing is being sort of less strict in requirement. So if someone, for example, has got experience using React, but they work like the company works with Angular, if you're a professional enough developer, you should be able to pick up Angular relatively quickly within a week or 2 weeks, so it doesn't impact the business as much as it's preconceived to be.
A lot in sort of the past 18 months due to COVID, not being able to meet people face to face has made sort of the interview process go digital. So clients and candidates are happy to sort of have their interviews via Microsoft Teams or Zoom, which I think actually helps increase the efficiency and just the overall, which just makes it a better process for the candidate and the client. It helps the candidate and client be a bit more flexible, maybe with timings, and being a bit more readily available.
And one negative that we often find is when we speak to a new client in our discovery calls, there's always a spec behind a spec. So sometimes what a client will give us in a job description isn't actually what they want or need for a role. So when you come into market with a new opportunity, I think it's great to just look at exactly what you need from this role and then put that in the job spec.
Interview processes and general screening processes have improved, purely because everything is now done remotely. We don't have to get people to book half days off, get in the suit, travel here, there and everywhere for face-to-face interviews. We generally tend to find that everything can be done over a Zoom meeting. So that's one benefit the last 2 years of misery has brought to us as recruiters.
I think my only change would be to the company that are still adamant on doing face-to-face interviews would be to give the digital interviews a go, and you may see that the whole process be more streamlined and more efficient.
In terms of modern tech influencing the hiring process, one thing that I think could be a really innovative idea is with the way that the workplace is moving to completely remote, people often work at a company for a year, 2 years, and they don't even know what the office looks like or what the vibe of the company is. So by using virtual reality throughout the hiring process, you could, for example, show a prospective candidate a tour of the office, something like that, just something to really get their buy-in at the very start of the process and make sure they feel part of the company, especially in the remote world we're starting to live in.
ATSs are really useful when used effectively, making sure everyone knows where everyone's up to in the process. Everyone can see on both ends what needs doing and what doesn't, although things can get lost in systems. So on both ends, you need to make sure that you're keeping up to date with all candidates that are uploaded to it, just to make sure that everyone knows that they're on the same page and they know what the next step is.
I don't think tech is utilised enough in hiring. I think hiring is still how it's been done for the last 15 years. It's still very much, here's job advert, job board, candidate come to you. Obviously you've got LinkedIn, which technically is a social media platform, so I guess that is where it has developed. People don't leverage the tools in their system enough. I think about your current company, you probably have a marketing team. Why aren't you using their marketing tools, email nurturing campaigns, social media, all those sorts of things? Like, that's really important, because not only are you building your brand for your potential customers, you need to build a brand for you want to work with, your potential future colleagues. So getting your marketing team involved is something which people need to do, and using all their MarTech, because MarTech, there's loads of new things coming out every single week.
So I think using things like applicant tracking systems can really help make the whole process more transparent for us as the recruiters and the clients. We should make sure it's updated is obviously important, but it rules out things, having to chase constantly for updates. Everyone has a view of it at the same time.
For as long as I've been in recruitment, Technology is supposed to relieve us of our duties and replace us and basically do everything automatically. It's still not happened. I can't see it ever happening. No ATS or no amount of technology that can persuade somebody to attend an interview when they've got misgivings about the company. Human element, I think, is always going to remain, which is why there's such a clamour for experienced recruiters at the moment. However, there are several benefits. A good ATS, a good CRM system can take a lot of the legwork out of keeping candidates up to date, arranging interviews, sending out Zoom interviews.
Obviously, we've had COVID recently. So the last 2 years, we've seen the emergence of companies like Interview and obviously Zoom and Microsoft Teams, all those sorts of platforms that are being utilised more for interviews. It makes it more streamlined, it makes it more efficient, and actually makes it a little bit more easier, or it makes it easier on the candidate. So I think utilising those tools more effectively is the future.
Absolutely paramount. If I think back over the last sort of 5 to 6 years, how this way of going about things has really evolved. When I first started, we had to call everybody for absolutely everything. There was no LinkedIn, emails sporadically responded to, so it was all a phone-based job. Nowadays, if you want to reach people, you have to be absolutely everywhere in terms of social media.
In terms of social media, obviously it's that sort of what's becoming an age-old saying now, build your personal brand, you never have to have a CV again. That's across all platforms. If you've just got that sort of social footprint online, then you're so much more approachable. People know a lot more about you before they even have to speak to you, and you're basically selling yourself before you have to have that conversation where you're selling your specific skills.
So in terms of social media and networking influencing the hiring process, I think a thing here at Candor that we really found is that towards the back end of 2021 and at the start of 2022, people are using job boards less and less every single day. All about LinkedIn, it's all about networking, messaging people that are in your active network, and really just understanding the market and what your candidates need.
50% of our candidates we got via reaching out via LinkedIn, as opposed to traditional job boards and databases of yesteryear. As a recruiter and as a client as well, if you were looking to attract the very best people, 90% of them are only going to ever see your job adverts via some platform or another. They're not going to see it via a phone call or a job advert on CW Jobs anymore.
So I think obviously platforms like LinkedIn are a massive help to really maximise your reach when you're recruiting for candidates. I think you're also targeting a more professional audience from where you post on a job board where anyone can see it on a LinkedIn. You're really targeting that sort of professional network, which I think can help not only find the right candidates but also the best candidates.